know, you miss my beautiful face. Hello. Welcome back. It is TN here. Yes. I'm going to try to get through this one faster. So, well, if you don't like that, then okay. So, I'm gonna get right into it. Oh boy, this one's gonna be a fun one. So when Deku was born he's born to a rich family this time, where the kind of mansion he is raised in, and he's raised to have some very strict honor code, you know, as a man, a lord. And he was really taught this by his father, who, whenever he would ask about his siblings, the father would just answer with nothing, simply silent. Deku, when he finds out that he has no quirk when he's younger, the doctor sadly says silently, "I'm sorry, but you know what that means." The dad responds, "Of course I do." Before Deku could even say anything, he was taken to the grand hall of weapons and ancient armor presented on the walls that he had never seen before, and his father seemed to not answer any questions about, except a vague sense of him feeling at home. Arthur's eyes glow, and ghosts arise out of the suits. Every warrior from For Honor presented themselves to Arthur. "We, the warriors of the past, will again provide our services," they also say. "Arthur, of course, I have another son for you." Warriors of the past. All the ghosts turn and judge Deku. He feels like he needs to kneel to them from the sheer intensity of their will and power they command. They all surround him, each one staring straight into his eyes, searching for his soul, judging him, judging his character, everything that he's about. Until the one that surrounded him bandages comes ahead, offering his services to Deku. The rest of the glory-filled warriors stood in shock, telling Deku no, that's too hard for him. He's only a boy. But Deku didn't notice. He was just still being like, "Hi, what's your name? What the fuck is happening?" So Shinobi just took it as a yes, placing his thumb on his head. Deku is suddenly being teleported to a new world. The whole entire room is shined in white light. He appears on a battlefield. Almost not really. Just a battlefield that was empty. Suddenly the shinobi that had chosen him out comes forward, saying, "Fight for your life and never look back." He had noticed that suddenly his body had turned to be bigger and fit the suit of armor that he was suddenly wearing. Not much of a suit, but robes that were good for stealth. Something that Shinobi said about that he would be best in. He takes kindly to the whole battlefield. Somehow he passes through his trials of becoming a shinobi. He feels that it was right for him. He hates having to fight people head first. Getting hit is the worst feeling to him, especially seeing others suffer. He wants to make it quick. He does not want to see anyone be like him. Deku was shocked. He had no idea what happened and what was happening, but he had to keep on fighting. Through the years, he went through multiple of these, being trained by Shinobi. Shinobi takes him under her wing. Later in his life, when he grew up to be around 20, he went through many, many battles once he turned 19 at least. Then he started going through assassination missions only when he was 15. Together, he had completed over 45 missions successfully without getting caught. Now, Shinobi made sure to train him well since he was a kid, teaching him how to use smoke bombs, shurikens, sickles, and most of all, how to kick the shit out of someone. I mean, like, goddamn. Fuck. One kick, down to the ground. Once he had gone to a battle, a siege most likely. He was not used to something like this, but with Shinobi helping him with the charge, he was ready. It comforted him. Until once they got on top of the wall, Shinobi was shot with an arrow. He was in the middle of battling, so he couldn't catch him. There was nothing he could do but just watch as Shinobi fell. He had failed. He cried that day, holding Shinobi in his arms. She was his master, and he had never experienced such a striking experience. Somebody that he actually knew personally dying in this war. He thought it would end with him dying. Don't take her, please. He looks up to the heavens. Just let this end. What was it all about? Suddenly he appears in his 5-year-old body, but instead it was 10 years old. I mean, he was still chiseled as shit. I mean, all of his muscle gained kind of, just kind of transferred to that. I mean, like, chiseled. I mean, I ain't gay. But damn. Well, goddamn. No, I swear. Let me explain. Anyways. His father also returning on the other side of the room that he was originally, saying congratulations. That's the farthest anyone's ever gotten, son. You're quite impressive. Deku gets up surprised, but he was so pissed that he looked around at his body surprisingly. Surprised. He had lost a couple fingers in war, so he didn't expect that to carry over to his old body. Nevertheless, actually get to his old body. He thought he was stuck there forever. He got so used to war, this was weird. Everything was weird. 35, very impressive. 35 years? Yep. I lost track of time. Jesus. How old was I before? You're about 10. Anyways. No, I got some questions. No time. What do you mean, no time? Pissed, Deku tries to ask more questions. Before he could, the warriors reappear, taking the ghosts take up the arms and the armor of all the ones in the glasses. Armor. Possessing them and making themselves into them. They all appear, smashing the glass in their containers they were in. Smacking the ground, they rushed at Deku. Although one at a time, he thought was odd. I like to slow down my fight scenes, if you guys didn't know. I'm also trying this new. So you guys, I like to slow it down so that you guys get the gruesome details. I love them. I'll make sure to include some executions of some of the bad guys. Don't worry about it. And some of my other ones too. The biggest one there, Shigoki, steps up wielding his massive club smashing the ground. knowing Deku would take Deku off his balance. Deku takes a step back before he can try to jump out of the way. Shigoki charges at him, doing a bear hug motion, but instead he was brutally misunderstood how fast and keen Deku was. Before he knew it, Deku was on top of Shigoki, and just in time for him to barely dodge the shuriken coming after him, but not enough to not get kicked in the face, knocking Shigoki out. That was a decoy you hugged there, idiot. The real Deku was me, obviously. Lawbringer's next. Swinging his massive polearm at Deku, Deku dodges but holds on to the polearm. He's being swung around wildly as he's starting to become sick, but slowly but surely he's creeping up towards Lawbringer, climbing up the polearm, and then Lawbringer tries to headbutt him, but he easily dodges this, going around Lawbringer, ripping off the helmet, disintegrate, leaving the flesh behind, and Deku uses his knowledge of pinpoints, like the pinpoints on somebody's skin, to knock him out. Deku immediately picks up his polearm, knowing that it's the best equipment there. He swings around wildly, knowing he would catch at least somebody, catching both Shaman and Raider suddenly, going straight through all of their armor. Suddenly, two blades come out as he blocks with his whole arm. He kicks Aramusha away. His polearm is broken now. Deku says, "Oh, right. Aramusha, the angsty one. I've been waiting to beat you up." Aramusha says, "You talk too much." Aramusha says as he throws 4 slashes. But he had already been cleanly swept by the polearm being thrown at his head, which nobody would expect. But Deku's very crafty with his weapons, slicing him straight through the head and hitting the wall behind him. Furoki came up and tried to stab him multiple times with her spear, though Deku was way too fast and also had thrown a shuriken at her before she was running, so she was off balance a little. Wrapping his arm around her spear, he breaks it with his arm. Now defenseless, he kicks her down and kicks off her helmet. As he kicked off her helmet, he did not realize the Highlander swinging his mighty sword at Deku, but Deku was too fast, throwing a smoke bomb under him, confusing Highlander and forcing Ronin to swing at him, but missing, impaling Highlander with his sword. Kicks the sword out from Roshi. You know what, I'm just going to kill the character so I don't have to deal with his name. Confusing him, making him step back into a trap. Yeah, fuck him. Just fuck him. A trap. He gets spiked through every single part of his body is spiked into. Deku kind of over-prepared him. Maybe just a bit. Centurion and Gladiator tried to tackle him and succeeded at leg sweeping him, but Centurion was thrown off of Deku when he had kneed him on the face, bending his metal into his brain. That really does hurt. But it still left him bleeding after the Gladiator had gotten a successful punch to the face and then a spear stabbed into his toe. But Deku shook it off and laughed in his face, saying, "I've been through much worse than a toe stab. Don't even kid me." He shook it off and kicked him so hard that his helmet flew off, allowing Deku to get him in an arm wrestle and snap his neck. Warlord, Conqueror, and Blackbriar all charged him as he jumped upwards, throwing a smoke bomb again, confusing them as he stuck onto the keeping onto the roof using his toes to keep himself above them. He throws 2 shurikens, one that kills Conqueror and one that kills Blackbriar. But the ceiling breaks because of his weight. He falls down to the ground, but steadily he gets back up, unfazed. In the smoke bomb, he waits a little, but he hears a faint sound of a mace swinging. The warlord suddenly comes out, bursting out of the smoke at Deku. Well, slightly to the left of Deku, but reorganizes himself. Deku doesn't really know what to do against something like this, especially with the shield. This combined with the warden waiting for the right moment to strike behind Deku. Deku dodges one of the mace swings straight into Warden's massive sword. This hits him through the back and impaling him a slight bit. Warden laughs a little bit, saying, "We got you now, kid." But once the mace comes swinging at Deku's face, he does not discourage himself. He picks up his sickles. He's like, "Damn, you forced my hand. Fine, I'll use them." He takes out his sickle. He does not have a disease, guys. Come on. Fuck. You might go, God. Diseases. Whatever. He takes those out, catching the chain of the swinging mace with his chains, making it fling back and smash, like take off the Conqueror's head completely, grabbing the ball out of the air. Warden was right next to him, trying to force his sword into him more. It sounds so wrong. He grabs his head and smashes it with the huge mace ball. Crushing his head in, basically. Then he thinks he's about done, but there should be one more. He looks over to see Kensei, with a disappointing look on his face, shaking his head. They really did not do well. Why didn't they all just tackle together? This all could just avoid it. Whatever. Doesn't matter. I'm not gonna go down without some honor left in me. Come at me. Getting in a sword stance. Deku knows he sure as hell won't go down without a fight. So they had a very long fight where Deku knew had gotten stabbed before and was still bleeding out, but slightly. Only, like, he had gotten stabbed multiple times, but it was like very light stabs comparatively until Warden stabbed him through the back. So that's still affecting him during the fight. So he's having a lot of trouble with that. And to put on top of that, Kensei was his name. Kensei, he's drawing out the fight and keeps on backing up, so Deku can't get anything. And Kensei says, "You're never gonna win. You're gonna bleed out sometime. Just give up. We don't want to kill you automatically. We already taught you everything you know. Just give up." Deku says, "You really think I'm gonna give up this easily? After all of that?" Allows some of the blood that he bled himself into his hand. He swipes it across and getting blood into... Deku was getting mad by this point that he was dragging out the fight. and decided and was like, you know what? I guess you're right. He lets down his guard, thinking that maybe. Then Deku takes some of the blood that he was bleeding, and throws it in, like, slashes it straight at his eyes, hitting one of them, blinding him temporarily. Deku charges him, taking out both of his sickles, jabbing them straight into his chest and pulling outwards, practically destroying his armor. And by this point he was like, finally, I did it. It's finally done. Did I earn my honor? No, you haven't. What are you talking about, Arthur? That was the last guy. Then he remembers his master. Nope, not exactly, kid. Suddenly he has a sickle on his throat, he finally realizes. So sorry. Did you think that it was going to be that easily? Looks like you're in trouble. And Peacekeeper on his side, like, and make it double. Jesus Christ, Peace. I mean, for God's sake. Just shut up. Just stab him. Just stop. Just stab him. Let's get this over with. Don't fuck up my mind. Takes him down to his knees. Don't put it like that. Dirty-minded heathens. Jesus Christ. Ain't doing futa here, no. Nah. Whatever, you guys don't even earn this. Savages. That'll be all. See you next time.